Greetings and welcome to Pinball Help. Mike here. Today I am working on this World Cup soccer pinball machine, and I have pulled the goalie assembly out. That's what you see right here. There was a problem with this. First off, the actual goalie plastic was broken, so I had to get a new one along with the decal. So let me show you the process of refurbishing this goalie. There's a piece of plastic like this. It actually completely disintegrated, and there's the goalie that goes over it. So this will be glued onto this, so it'll fit on it like that. And this is what the whole actual goalie assembly looks like from underneath the machine. So the goalie sits right here, and he goes back and forth like that, blocking the ball, and there's a target behind it. So I'm going to put this on and rebuild this assembly, but I was having problems with the goalie just going a little bit like that, beep, 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 and I didn't know what the problem was. Thought maybe it might be the score motor, or this motor in here that's the gearbox, but let me show you. We've rigged it up so I could run it outside of the machine so I can test it. So let's take a look at what we've got here. All right, I'll put this like that, and let's get a good close-up. And let me show you how I hooked this up so I could test it outside of the machine. The goalie assembly has 3 connectors on it. It has this one connector coming off of the motor in the back, and this is what causes the goalie to wind. And then there's these other 2 connectors. One connector is for the optos that are down here on the bottom to sense the goalie. This other connector goes to the stand-up target that's behind the goalie. So unplug these 2, and then this connector is plugged onto a board on the underside. That's a DC driver board that supplies the voltage to this. So looking through the schematics, I found that it's fed 20 volts from the driver board, and it steps it down to 12 volts to drive this motor. So I found a 12 volt wall wart over there, and I hooked it into a little wiring thing here. So I've made my own little temporary 12 volt power supply. You could also do the same thing with a PC power supply, which will put out 12 volts. And you could just connect it to the motor. If you connect it wrong, the motor just runs in the opposite direction. In this case, it really won't matter because the motor just continually runs. And so let me show you what happens. I'm going to put some power onto this. Okay, and this is the actual assembly of the motor here. So I've got this alligator clipped into the connector right here, giving it 12 volts. So this thing just spins continuously, and then if we flip it around on the other side, you can see what's happening here is there's a little pivot that's going up and down, and it's causing this connector on the rear side to go back and forth, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. This part is not moving alongside it. So I think it's actually not a problem with the motor, it's a problem with this linkage here. So I'm going to take this all apart and clean it and try to figure out, this has become disengaged from the assembly there. So I think there may be something missing, or piece missing, or something damaged. But there does not appear to be a problem with the motor itself or the gear system. It seems to be working. Now it's got some grease on here that's all gunked up, and I'll definitely take that apart and clean it all out. But it is working, and it's working the way it's supposed to be working. And this thing you can see is moving back and forth. And I could tell that when I ran the switch test and the optos were working when the motor was running. So this assembly is somehow detached and it's not moving. And I'm going to take this apart and clean it. We're going to figure out what's causing this goalie to do that. Hopefully I'll be able to get this fixed without even having to really do any major parts. Maybe just clean it and figure out why it's slipping. And then I will put the new target on and the decal on that, and we should have our goalie back working the way it should be, instead of this lazy one that doesn't even want to move hardly at all. So we'll figure that out. But I think, this is all greased up, so it's gunked up somehow. So we're going to play around with it. We're going to get it working. So there you have it. Stay tuned for more on this.